Hello, everyone. Welcome to an episode of Trek Talk with Tech and Kirk. I'm TechMan16, and I am flying solo today. It seems that I don't have anybody else to join me. Not a single positive thought that I can get out of Admiral Jansen, or a single negative diatribe out of either Kirk or Emergen. So I'm just going to do my own reaction today of Star Trek Discovery, Season 3, Episode 9, Terra Firma, Part 1. So first off, I want to do a quick reaction, and that is I really enjoyed the episode. Some of the issues aside, I actually enjoyed the storytelling. It was about a character and her past sins in Phillipa Georgiou. It actually did remind me a little bit of the Star Trek version of A Christmas Carol, because the setting was on a snowy planet. Georgiou is kind of like Ebenezer Scrooge. Burnham is like Jacob Marley, and then Carl, the man in the hat, is kind of like the ghost of Christmas past, kind of showing her past sins, if you will. So some of the themes that I took away from this episode, I actually really enjoyed. Idiosyncrasies aside, I did enjoy the alternate universe and the Kelvin universe tie-in, where the Kelvin universe is canon from the Prime universe with the crossing of Lieutenant Commander Yor. He came from the Kelvin timeline, and eventually he died a very painful death. So I did enjoy kind of the explanation that what's happening to Georgiou is a result of temporal and time mechanics, if you will. Now, I don't think any of this is based in real science, but there is precedent in I believe which with what the writers used, and that was the Star Trek Voyager episode Relativity, where Seven of Nine only had a certain amount of jumps before she experienced temporal psychosis or other various ailments that afflicted Captain Braxton. So I kind of appreciate at least the attempt at trying to understand what's really happening when you warp between universes and time. Also, Spock was reverting back to his proto-Vulcan form in the episode where with the librarian, where Bones and Spock were trapped on an icy planet thousands of years past. So I get it. You know, there was elements of canon that kind of made sense. The other thing I really enjoyed was the change in perspective between Burnham and Georgiou. So Georgiou lived in the Prime universe with Prime Burnham and Starfleet and being on Discovery. And say what you will, it might have made her soft, it might have made her character evolve. But you know what? It seems that she did not really appreciate as an emperor some of the things that happen in the alternate universe that she would have enjoyed in the past. For example, she spared Saru. She understands Baha'i. Based on her expressions, she didn't really enjoy the tale of herself. Like, she wasn't really self-indulgent in it. It was kind of like, oh my God, this is what really happened. This is why these people are loyal to me. There's no type of either camaraderie. It's just like I'm ruling only by fear. And I've experienced all these other emotions on Discovery, and here I am back to fear-based, fear-mongering, brutality. In season 1, Burnham, being Prime Burnham, had to try and fit into the Terran universe, having her feelings trying to mitigate Georgiou's ruthlessness and aggression. And I think that Sonequa Martin Green really did a great job acting on those emotions, where she was ruthless and aggressive, just told off Georgiou how dare you take me off my garbage heap. It is my garbage heap, and you put me in your shadow. Now I can never live up to it. And I think that was powerful. I really think that was one of her best performances to date in Star Trek Discovery. So the story that I got from this is really character driven. It reminds me of Deep Space Nine, where almost all the stories of all the characters was really character first and plot second. And I think this really rings true with Georgiou in that the sins of the past catch up with you. So it was this is what I was in the past. This is what I am now. And do I like what I was? And can I change? Should I change? Is it important to change? And I think that's what's really being conflicted inside her. And I think that is a very Star Trek theme. It's the conflict of kind of good and evil and change. And it just sends a message. It forces you to think. Did you do something in the past that hurt others? Are you better for it now? Do you regret things that you've done? Could they have been done better if you're able to go back in time? I think that's a very, very kind of, Gene Roddenberry kind of Star Trek concept. And I welcome any opinion otherwise. And it was also very Star Trek in that I got a sense of command. There was a chain of command. We've argued on this podcast before that in Star Trek Discovery, the Discovery has Saru as captain, Burnham as the first officer, not anymore, and then that's it. There's no chain of command. Everybody's kind of like a flat organization. But I could clearly see everybody was competent. They were doing their jobs. They were following protocols. Killy said, the mandatory punishment for disobeying is immediate death. And, it was just Star Trek. There's a moral compass. It has to be Killy at this point because she's like, you have to follow protocol or you're going to be seen as weak. I thought that was, next generation. It's Picard is the moral compass. This is the Federation. I'm the representative of the Federation. These are the protocols that need to be followed. Go follow the protocol. I wish those were the characters we had in Discovery. I really do. I really think that the alternate universe counterparts to the Star Trek Discovery characters are better than the Star Trek Discovery characters. Now, obviously, the whole ruthlessness and brutality obviously doesn't fit with the United Federation of Planets, but it just shows you how effective the characters in Discovery are, in my opinion. At the same time, we don't know if this was a dream or if this was an alternate version of events. And we've had both types of phenomena occur throughout the course of Star Trek. We've had the original series episode City on the Edge of Forever, in which Kirk, Spock, and McCoy jump through this Guardian Gate, and there's a potential output for changing the way World War II with Edith Keeler. She becomes a pacifist, and Germany invades the United States, and things fell. Or Edith Keeler must be killed in order for the United States to enter the war and Nazis. That's storyline's been kind of done to death, but it took elements, and we don't know. We just don't know. Another one that comes to mind is TNG's yesterday's Enterprise, where the Enterprise C comes through a temporal anomaly, and the Federation's at war with the Klingons, and they're losing, and so they had to send the USS Enterprise C back in time in order to continue the timeline, as it were. And we have yet to understand whether this particular event that Georgiou is experiencing, is it kind of like an alternate timeline where if she changes something, which she already has, does that lead to a new alternate reality for her? or is it something that she's going to have to correct, where Burnham has to die and the things have to follow their course in order for her to come back and be the Georgiou that she was. The other thing is we don't know whether this really affects the new Section 31 show promised by Viacom, CBS, or Paramount. So it might be that this is a segue into her leaving Star Trek Discovery and staying in either her universe or Prime universe and being part of Section 31. We just don't know yet. But I'm curious to find out. Of course, in Trek fashion, typical Trek fashion, usually a character goes through a profound metamorphosis such as this, and then they emerge kind of at the point where they left, and they're either better or they're fixed or something happens. A lot of those resets have really been done. There's been plenty of death fake outs in Star Trek The Next Generation. You've had the Year of Hell, two-parter in Voyager, where everything in the timeline was reset. So I'm expecting something of this nature, but who knows? It could be very different. I'm also curious about Carl. Carl is he's played by Paul Guilfoyle. He's the man in the hat or the entity guarding the gateway that Georgiou went through. Is he Q? Is he just a guardian? Is he another species? Kind of reminds me of the entities that guarded the palace. The one thing that jumps to my mind is Stargate SG-1's Thor, who guards Thor's hammer. Various other things such as the Guardians of the Takan Empire from season 1 of Star Trek: The Next Generation. Things of that nature. So I'm really curious to learn about Carl. I think that was an interesting callback. The Metrons, the Yarnak, the rock creature that resurrected Abraham Lincoln and Surak against the captain of the Eugenics Wars and Kalis. So who knows? Maybe that's the case. I'm curious to find out. I was genuinely intrigued by the episode. A couple of the things that don't fit quite well, but they fit with the episode was Admiral Vance. The change of heart that he had. It doesn't fit his character. His character is supposed to be badass. And his character is supposed to question Discovery's crap and does that well. And then all of a sudden he's just like, I'll authorize the mission to go to near the galactic rim in the Delta Quadrant, or the near the Gamma Quadrant, because I've made mistakes in the past. It fits the episode. It fits the theme, right? It fits the theme of, do your past sins catch up with you? I get it. And it makes sense. It just doesn't fit his character. Also, various weird things that I've noticed. For example, Stamets talking with Adira. Adira is like, I've reset the thing, and then Stamets goes, well, did you try the on-off switch? And she goes, oh my God, really? Is that what I need to fix the algorithm? Which is a little bit strange, but whatever. It moves the plot along with the burn. The thing about the Kelpian crew, it was okay. Why would a Kelpian crew be in the middle of a distress signal that sends out possibly the signal that causes the burn? Who knows? I was really glad to be divorced from the current season 3 storylines of PTSD, mental health issues, various alien inadequacies, the contradictions between the Vulcans and the Romulans and the Federation and the Emerald Chain. And I really found it really refreshing to just be focused on a character-driven story where there was a lot of depth to explore. There's really a lot of depth to explore in just those few hours, few weeks, few days before, I guess, the Discovery crew, the Prime Discovery crew, appears in the alternate universe. And Burnham and Georgiou really have good chemistry, and it just speaks to the volume of their acting abilities to really pull that off. And that's what was really exciting, and I really, really enjoyed. I hope to see a very satisfying payoff in part 2, Terra Firma part 2, but I'm also curious to know what you guys think. I'm thinking maybe doing a follow-up video with Amergan, Jansen, Spirit Mind, Handy, Kirk, anybody who's willing to give me another opinion. So I appreciate it. Thanks again for listening, guys. Subscribe to the content if you like it. Give us a like, give us a comment. And we'll see you guys next time. This has been Trek Talk with Tech and Kirk. I'm TechMan16, and we'll see you guys next time.